Well, hello. It's so lovely to see you all. As you know from my last visit, I said we were choosing a new leader. Well, they're still procrastinating over that one, which is probably a good thing, as we must remember what we choose today shapes our tomorrow. And time is doing a very strange thing at the moment in our realm too. And I happen to have it on good authority that in your realm, time is speeding up. You may or may not have noticed it. I can't imagine how you wouldn't have, but it all feels quite odd. Hopefully, by the end of the next new moon, we shall have elected a new leader and have a wondrous party. As I said before, hopefully with not too many pixies invited, although I do like them. They do make such a mess. Anyway, to see where our Thimble is. Managed to get away from those awful trolls. Goodness me! Thank goodness for our Elvian friends. They are a wonder. Now, the cry of the dawn chorus and a flock of red cuckoos flying south awoke the last of the party-goers from the night before. The wind of the far north had picked up and was blowing the cold air across Org. Every wind chime hanging from each and every cave played out an individual tune, and slowly the sun rose over the Elvian realm. Big clouds in the far distance indicated that rain was soon on its way, and Thimble was eager to begin the long journey home. Sonica had organised for some of his men to accompany the fairies to the edge of the blackened forest, and Thane insisted that he also join them, which Thimble was more than happy about at this stage, and was fairly confident it wouldn't affect her quest. Soon the little army of feet were marching alongside the river Org, and its current was as strong as the day Thimble had first encountered its strength. Watching the waters as they passed, the little fairy realised how far she had come, and how lucky she had been to have been helped by so many new friends. Yes, what a terrible part of the book that was when she fell in those awful waters. We were all so worried about her. Yes, I know. Anyway, she wondered what Lord and Lady Flute would make of her adventures, and looked forward to telling them about her travels, hoping that perhaps she may have finally done something that they might be proud of their daughter for. Thane glanced over and smiled, and Thimble blushed. He always seemed to know the thoughts preoccupying her mind, and she suddenly realised that it didn't actually matter what anyone else thought. No, absolutely not. As she had done her very best, and that was the most important thing. Yes, I agree with you both. As they reached the other side of the wild and boggy grassland with all its dips and hills, the blackened forest was finally in their sight. Thimble knew she would have to keep her wits about her, and most definitely was not going to talk to any helpful spiders this time. Good to see she's learnt some lessons. Gathering under a huge willow, the group stopped to decide the best path into the forest. Its black branches and leaves looked even more foreboding than Thimble had remembered, and none of its foliage looked at all familiar to her. Two Elvian warriors set off to see if they could find a suitable entrance for Thimble and Blossom to climb through, but soon returned, scratched and bruised from their unsuccessful attempts to penetrate the forest's dense cover. There were cobwebs everywhere, which stretched from branch to branch in thick, silvery, stringy meshes, as if Double and Trouble had been hard at work making sure that their webs acted as an even bigger deterrent to any passerby. "Goodness!" exclaimed a disgruntled Thimble. "This does not look good, and rather like somebody doesn't really want us coming this way," she said, and sat down on a nearby stone to think. Thane lit a small campfire to keep some of the chill off, while Blossom unrolled blankets to keep the cold chill off as the winds grew even stronger. Thimble, however, was only too aware of what moon it was that evening and was in no mood to make camp. "Don't get comfortable," she said firmly. "We will not be here long." And she wandered off to think by herself. Walking around the forest's black wall of leafy darkness, she desperately searched for a way in, but she could see the forest had grown even thicker, even darker, and even more foreboding. I know. How? Thimble could only now imagine what it looked like on the inside, and she wondered how her friends, the tree spirits, and the shy tiny people were keeping in such a dark, dark place. Turning back to find the others, Thimble paused, as a familiar noise behind her made her stop in her tracks. It sounded like faint giggling, and suddenly a small light danced through the smallest of gaps from the forest's dark leaves and sat itself on a protruding branch. "Turn back, Thimble. The forest is safe for no one. Turn back and never return. Turn back for your own safety," said the voice, which Thimble now recognised as the tree spirit who had saved her from the hunchback pixies all those moons ago. Thimble was overjoyed to see her little friend again. Yes, I know. And would always be grateful for the way it had helped her. But she was also slightly perturbed by what the little spirit was saying. "I have to come this way," answered Thimble softly. "I have found Blossom, and I need to get home, and this is my only route," she continued, hoping that the tree spirits would now show her a way in. There was a short pause, and the giggles turned to whispering sighs, which echoed around Thimble's head. "You can never come this way, Thimble, or you shall never make it home at all. The hunchbacks have destroyed everything, and now the forest is dying. We don't have much time left." And the tree spirit's light flickered. Goodness me! Thimble knew that this was not good. Not good at all, and suddenly her thoughts turned to the safety of all the little spirits who still called the forest home. "Dying?" inquired a concerned Thimble. "What shall you do if the forest dies?" And after a short pause, the tree spirit answered, but its voice seemed weaker. "We can now only be saved by the dryads of Rocher, Thimble. But we are trapped here, with no way to get to them. We shall fade with the trees when the forest dies." Goodness! Thimble suddenly felt very helpless. She knew she had to get back to her valley by nightfall, but she also knew she had to help her friends. After all, without them, she may very well still be wandering in the dark forest herself, trapped within its thick leaves. Goodness! I know. Thimble decided that she would have to come up with a plan, although she'd learnt from past experience that plans weren't her strength. No. But she also knew she had to do something. Rummaging in her bag, she found Twig, who was fast asleep after weeks of no magic. Shaking her awake, she held her up in the air. "Make this tree grow. Make this tree green. It must not become firewood to burn, and wait until I can return." And with the biggest blast of fairy dust, the tree the tiny spirit had been resting on started to grow. Its branches sprouted fresh green leaves, and with it the tree spirit's light grew brighter. "I cannot stop the demise of the forest. My magic is not powerful enough," said Thimble, admiring her work. "But this tree will live a little longer now, and hopefully buy you some time. I hope enough until I can return and help you. The tree spirit's giggles swept through the branches, and Thimble could hear them thank her as she rushed off to find Blossom, Thane and the other elves. Now, we all know that part of Thimble's quest was that she wasn't allowed to use magic. I wonder, as I'm sure Thimble does, how using her magic now has changed things. Goodness me. Doesn't bear thinking about. However, there are some things in life that can't be ignored, and Thimble knew that. She's so brave. She's a true warrior. I do so hope that... Okay, carrying on. All the elves and Blossom were huddled together under blankets. The rain was on its way, and Thimble had made up her mind that they would be leaving imminently. "Pack up camp and dampen the fire," shouted Thimble as she approached, looking frustrated. "Have you found us a way in, Thimble?" inquired a hopeful Blossom, but she could see that Thimble was looking more worried than when she had left. Sitting down, Thimble explained what the tree spirit had told her, and about how she had used her magic to buy them some more time. Thane hung his head in sorrow. "This is not a good sign. If the forest dies, then it won't be long before the Elvian realm is exposed to trespassers, putting our young and vulnerable at risk," he said, looking back towards Org. Thimble knew they had no time to waste. She had to get back to the valley with Blossom as soon as she could, so she could return to help the forest spirits. "There is nothing for it. I've already broken the rules of my quest by using my magic. So I shall use our magic again to get us home safely, and with both our magic abilities combined, Blossom, we should be home by duskfall," said Thimble, taking a deep breath about her decision. Blossom knew only too well what Thimble may be giving up by doing so, but in light of the things they had all just learnt, it seemed the only suitable option if they were to help save the good spirits of the forest in time. And so it was agreed, and the two little fairies began to plan exactly what form of levitation would get them home the quickest. Goodness me. Oh, those are the calling birds. They shall have to go. Goodness me, what decisions Thimble's had to make. Like I said at the beginning, the decisions we make today help shape our tomorrows, don't they? I do think that she's made the right decision, though. We must always help when we can, even if it puts us in a difficult situation ourselves. If we can, we have to just live in the moment and help. And who knows what tomorrow will bring. Anyway, yes, I have to go. But I know you shall want to come back next time and find out what our brave Thimble gets up to. She's nearly home. Until next time, take care. And remember, don't stop believing, especially in you.